Hey there, Alex Kidman here, and as part of my review of this phone, the Pixel 9a, I need to do some photography testing, but I've also got the opportunity to do a bit of comparative photography testing because the Pixel 9a, whilst it's Google's cheapest Pixel phone, is still in that kind of low premium space. It's the cheapest phone that Google makes, but I thought it'd be useful to compare it against a couple of phones that sit in broadly the same price bracket. So what we've got here is the Apple iPhone 16e and the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE. Now, I haven't arranged them in this order because the two Android phones are ganging up on the iPhone. This is actually the price order. You'll pay less for the Pixel 9a than the 16e at its lowest storage variant than the S24 FE, but it gets a bit more complicated with some of them depending on how you bump up the storage. But I'm going to take them out and do a bunch of photography tests with them. But I should set some ground rules really quickly. These are all handheld shots just taken with the default camera app for each phone. I'm letting the phones pick all of those parameters because obviously you could go quite nuts with that. And I'm doing no post processing on these shots whatsoever. Obviously, there is a little bit of subjectivity in this. And obviously, if things move in my frame outside my control, then that will change the nature of shots. But I will try and avoid that where possible. Let's get on with the comparison. First shot. The internet still likes cats, right? Because I certainly do. A basic shot, and one that's pretty close, but the S24 FE takes third place here, basically because it washes out the colour a little bit more. The Pixel 9a gives a more naturalistic colour. The iPhone takes it because I suspect most people will want that slightly oversaturated colour look, but it's very close between the 9a and the iPhone in this particular photo test. A bowl of fruit is an artistic trope, so why not photograph it? This wasn't in the best lit area, and the S24 FE struggled. Not a bad shot, and this is super close. The iPhone does a kind of plasticky thing here that I don't like. I do prefer the more naturalistic look of the 9A for this shot, so it wins that one. Let's get out into the real world, shall we? And the iPhone loses straight away and by a huge margin because while this is a perfectly fine photo, the 16e just doesn't have an ultra-wide camera. This is what happens when you put one lens on a phone, Apple. It's pretty close between the S24 FE and the Pixel for this shot, but the S24 FE just slightly overexposes the shot where the Pixel 9a gives it a more natural tone, winning that particular one, but by a very, very small margin. Time to get up close and personal. So I'm going to set the scene for this one first. This is just a local park. I'm zooming in on the shot that I took with just one of the phones here. But the idea is I wanted to see what they could do with telephoto, and there was an obvious candidate that was likely to win. Let's get into it. The Pixel 9a comes third here. It only has an 8x zoom, which just limits the scope of how close you can get. But even though the iPhone will go up to 10x, it's not as well balanced a shot. It's really got that kind of unrealistic color to it. And that, of course, leaves the S24 FE to absolutely romp at home with its 30x zoom. Now, of course, those extreme zooms rarely turn out all that well, and I'm not pretending this does. But even if I step it back to 10x, which is what the iPhone can do, the actual shot is better, it's sharper, it's clearer. If you want telephoto, the Galaxy S24 FE is absolutely the way to go. Sadly, I have a deeply unattractive selfie subject to shoot. And this is the closest field of all of them. Honestly, they all do really quite good selfies. The reason I've arranged them this way, iPhone, then S24 FE, and then Pixel, is largely because the Pixel actually gets the color balance better. My t-shirt really was black, not that kind of gray that the 16e made it out to be, or the mid-tone that the S24 FE picked up, but they're all basically really great. Low light is, of course, important, but this one needs a little scene setting because I literally had one evening to get these shots in. I have places that I usually use for low light testing, and on the night in question, all of them were in use with floodlights or other light sources that made them unusable, so I had to improvise a bit. These are not my usual places for taking shots, but I have taken a number of them. Let's get into it. None of the phones got this pathway really wrong, but the Pixel delivered the darkest shot of the set. The iPhone delivers a more balanced take, does pick up a little bit more light, but this one I'll give to the S24 FE, which does an even better balanced overall take on that particular shot. Onto a playground in the dark where I couldn't see the colour of a piece of equipment, but the cameras could, plus bonus nighttime drinkers. Every single phone here got something different wrong, and which was interesting to me at least. The Pixel 9a is just kind of a blandish looking shot where the S24 FE is much more colourful, but the leaves in that tree are kind of blown out as a result. Meanwhile, the iPhone does maybe better with the colours, but then loses detail in the leaves. It's kind of a lose for different reasons situation, really. Also, special bonus shout out to the teenagers drinking by the table there in the background, trying to work out if I could see them. I could see you guys, but hey, it's not my job to police it. being in Sydney sucks for astrophotography, but I tried something a little bit different here. And here the S24 FE loses out mostly because the way it's interpreted, that street light blows out most of the stars. The 9A does a nice balanced scene, but the iPhone, I think, does a prettier scene, kind of close between them. And to finish up, a shot where I literally just turned the cameras towards some trees. I couldn't see a thing, it was that dark. What would the phones see, though? The Pixel 9a picked up the least light here. I will admit to an error here. This one is shot in a different aspect ratio to the other two. That error is mine, but it shouldn't change the amount of light it's going to pick up. The iPhone does a better job of picking up color and detail, and I will say its low light setup, where it tries to show you what it thinks the scene looks like, does make some framing a little bit easier. And I bring that up because on the night, I would have sworn the S24 FE was going to come dead last. Its shots looked in the phone as though it was just picking up mostly blackness, but its post-processing did a really solid job of bringing out a lot of detail where my eyes could make out none. So there we have it. Now, obviously, I've got more camera work to do to properly put the Pixel 9a through its full paces, but I did want to do this head-to-head while I was able to do it. I am aware some of my calls here have been subjective, and I'd be really interested in your feedback, your opinion. Which phone do you think took the best shots in which situations and why? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to subscribe, share around, and consider becoming a financial supporter of the channel because it really does help me to make more of these. Thanks for watching.